And welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Cheap Pops. I'm Eddie.
I'm Courtney.
And tonight we are back for our next episode. So some things have happened since last time we were on. I think it was, 2 or 3 weeks since we recorded?
At least it's been a minute, so we needed to hop back on here. I've been dying to open some more slap bands. We got to talk about the deal for WrestleMania. We got to talk about our recent trip to Smackdown.
Yep.
So we're going to get into all that in this episode, but where are you ready to get started?
So let's talk about WrestleMania a little bit.
Okay.
So what are you looking forward to? What matches have your attention? What do you think this should be? All of it.
So obviously this is supposed to be like the best time of the year for wrestling. You know, it's kind of like we're gearing up for the grand finale, so to speak. So we have like Cody versus Randy. They obviously decided to go heel turn with Randy, which was a little bit surprising to me, but I guess it was kind of, there's a lot of complaints about everything being boring, so I guess that's one way to do it. I don't know, anyway. But I'm interested to see where that goes from a standpoint of who is Randy talking to? Who else is involved? Because we've seen some kind of conflicted kind of monologues and stuff from some of our favorite baby faces. So could that be in the mix, or is that completely separate? So they've got my attention a little bit with the Cody Randy thing. And that's not something that, I say lightly. But we'll see what they do with it.
So are you ready for Conspiracy of the Night?
All right, hit me with it.
We're going to go ahead and get this one out of the way early. This isn't about a dog in a box or anything.
We made it like 2 minutes in.
Okay, well, yeah, not too bad. So here's the connection. So you've got Orton, who's fighting Cody, right? Who previously feuded with The Rock. So Orton is talking to The Rock and setting something up. Because one, he has a royal family, and two, Orton obviously watched Cheap Pops. He knows how many of those Brahma Bull titles that we pulled.
He's mad about it.
He's mad, and so he's reaching out.
That makes sense.
To have us at WrestleMania for a live edition of Cheap Pops.
Naturally. I think he cracked it. I think he cracked it. No, I think it might be like Daddy Orton. That would be really cool if we could pull that out, or some other legend or some other wrestler with family ties. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. Other builds that you're looking forward to, things you're excited about.
So for me, the match that has kept me entertained week after week, and it's just the build now, is Brock and Oba.
I thought we'd get there.
Man, it's been fantastic. I feel like from everything from Oba coming out looking like a beast.
The crowd loves him.
Crowd is crazy for him. Well, we're gonna do our Oba dance here in a minute. But then also Brock, I think, is doing great with it, and being willing to kind of give a little bit more than you typically see.
I think I'm going to be disappointed if Brock wins, and I think that's the way they'll probably end up going, because he's still Brock, and Oba's still got a way to go. But I do like that they're letting him get his licks in. As you said, Brock is doing, I have to give him his props. He's putting him over in these spots. So, I'm excited about that one too. It's just been fun. I love hearing the crowd. Yeah. Oba. It's great. And all the kids get into it. It's fun.
And adults get into
it. Well, you're a kid, my friend.
That's true.
Anyway, but I'm excited about that one as well.
Okay. What about any other matches for you that have your attention?
Well, I don't know if it would say attention in a good way necessarily, but I'm trying to figure out the weird tension build with the Rhea Jade Cargill situation.
Okay.
I think they made it a little bit interesting this most recent episode of SmackDown by having Michin and who was B-Fab come in and join forces with Jade. But before that, it was kind of like, is this real personal or so we'll see where they go with that. They've definitely thrown kind of a wrench in there, but I'm like, what's happening? What's the connection here? What's the deal? I need more info.
I think for me, Jade is great at being a heel. She's just that B.
She
she said it repeatedly on the show. So no disrespect, because I know you could beat me up with one hand tied behind her back, probably.
A flick.
But she just does really good. And then you've got Rhea in there, who to me is the
Like
Roman
Stone
Reigns
Cold.
of the women's
Yeah,
division,
yeah,
and not even just the women's division, just overall she's awesome.
Yeah.
So she's going to do good, and it's going to be a good match.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are really expecting Rhea to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they might go a different way, and I kind of hope that they do. Mm-hmm. Rhea can go back and forth to either brand. She can fight for either title. She'll get another shot and whatever. But stick with Jade for a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see her develop a little bit more personality. Maybe explore this B5 Michin thing a little bit. Yeah, I think Michin does some pretty good work, especially the hardcore stuff. Yeah. And I haven't gotten to know B-Fab as much. We're not close. She hasn't called me. But, I think there's some, maybe some potential there of a faction. I know some people are factioned out right now. But, if it works, it works. Yeah. So we'll see what they do with it.
And there's been, speculation that Rhea's kind of banged up going into this one and some, I think, back issues before. That. Something that I saw today that I was talking about it. So, you don't know if it's real or not. But if so, then, you can definitely see her taking some time off after Mania and Jade, keeping the belt, going on and doing things with her girls. I don't know what they're
maybe
called.
I don't know with the girls, but she could feud. Maybe, hopefully, Bianca's ready to come back soon from her injury.
Yeah.
I don't know what Naomi's situation is right now in recovery. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a while before she's back, but eventually, there's definitely, she's got to come back, especially if she comes back with the gimmick that she left with. I mean, I'm going to pull the popcorn out for that one.
Yeah.
With the caution tape and all that. So, there's some juice there with Jade. If they do it right, again, I say that all the time, if they do it right. But, so we'll see.
We'll see. And then, we've got, as far as kind of transition a little bit, as far as some of the other belts, still want to see more with the tag team division, set something up, before we're 3 to 4 weeks away from Mania. It'd be nice to see some story. And then same with the IC, putting some story there. But then also now we have new tag champs, and so we'll use that to kind of segue into our Smackdown trip. So I had gotten the Seaster tickets for Smackdown as part of a Christmas present, and they were coming around, and so me and Seaster and Tab, wife, I'll put that on I'll point to it and just.
Yeah, this is
okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was worth a shot. But so we went to Smackdown in Raleigh, and I had a fun day, leading up to it.
Yeah, it was a good day. Yeah.
We'll use it. This will be a little bit of a spoiler, but we talked about the WWE cards and maybe looking into doing that at some point. So we've gotten started on getting cards, and of course, you got the hook. We're fiending for more cards. So we toured Raleigh trying to find some places that had some more packs and boxes that we could get and did. But then obviously the main event, SmackDown. And what are your thoughts on that? So first one that we've been to in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me. I couldn't I mean, pre-COVID, I think, for me.
Yeah.
I think you've been to one more recently.
So I went to the one in Florida, Saturday night's main event.
That's right,
John Cena. And
earlier this year.
And Ron Cena fought at that one, so great match. But but before that,
how do we keep doing that?
I don't know. So it's been a minute. So what do you think overall, kind of getting back into it?
So it's been, like I said, a really long time for me since I've been to any kind of wrestling match. And we had really great seats. So he got us on the floor, kind of on the ramp, which was really cool. We were able to see the wrestlers up close, see their gimmicks. I thought the crowd was really good. And you want that. You need the crowd to be into it. If they're not into it, it's just hard,
Yeah.
But I thought it was a great atmosphere. I had a good time. Like I said, we had great seats, and so it was hard not to get to be into it.
Yeah.
I mean, watching him run around like a little kid,
I was.
taking pictures. So.
And my OCD getting in was horrible because one of the cool things about being at a show live is what signs are you going to see, but then also what wrestling t-shirts other people are going to wear. And man, so many that I hadn't seen either on the WWE page or even some other shopping outlets. And so I was trying not to stare at everybody's chest at the event because I didn't want to get punched in the face. But just a lot of cool things to see.
It was really cool. You had people with their Deadhausen mask on, which was interesting, and people had their custom made belts and things. So it's cool to see. You see all kinds of characters, and it's it's a melting pot. It really is a melting pot of all kinds of personalities and things. And so it's kind of, in that way, it's kind of the beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I'll say if you were at the SmackDown show, sitting on the floor, like row, it would have been, I guess, 11 or 10, if you were decked out in the full Cody Rhodes gear.
And the neck tattoo.
And you somehow see this, we've got to know, is it a real neck tattoo?
Or did you slap that on just for the night?
Yeah, I mean, do you get that temporary tat going? Cause
it looked like dedication, you know?
Yeah.
But no, it was a good time. And I mean, what were your overall thoughts? I mean...
So, for me, I liked where we were seated outside of kind of being more towards the middle. Been nice to be like closer on the barrier because you can't bulldoze kids to get over there when you're in the middle. Well, it was one time, okay, and she'll heal. But then also like being close to the barrier in the back to be able to see the guys and girls when they came out. I enjoyed that part. And just like the fun atmosphere of it, I will say something that I said while we were at the event, but man, time goes faster when you're there because there's just more energy to it versus if you're watching at home. For me, I'm going to zone out and not finish. But to me, I felt like even for 3 hours, time went by pretty quick.
That was one thing that I was going to ask you actually was like how you feel about the live experience versus the TV watching experience. Obviously, there's pros and cons to both, but just like overall, like what's your thoughts?
So one thing that that I appreciate that I don't think I remember hearing or seeing at other shows that we've been at is right before they came back live, they would play like 5 seconds or something. It was like a little jingle. And every time after that happened, then either the next match was starting or a scene going on in the back. So for me, I like that they kind of cued you to come back in and pay attention. That definitely helps. And like I said, I don't remember seeing something like that at prior events. And I do like that they also don't just say, we're going to be back live in 10 seconds, because then you know to pay attention. At least with this way,
it's
some
organic.
people...
It's more organic, for sure. And I do think that's important, because like I was saying, the crowd is part of the show. The crowd is important. It's the difference in it being... WWE event and an indie event, that was some of my thoughts as well. One of the things I missed that I didn't like, I've never thought about before when we went to live events was like the commentary, I wish that there was some way, and I don't know what it would be, where they could incorporate where you could like, I don't know.
You'd have an arena full of people looking like radio with like the earmuffs on, and it's playing through like a FM or AM station.
Yeah, I don't know if it's doable, but you did miss the commentary, and that's just that's a shout out to the commentary team and what they add to the show. Sometimes you take those guys for granted, unless they're like big personality guys like the Pat McAfees and all that stuff.
Yeah. But. And speaking of that, so we'll talk about like favorite matches or segments, things you saw. But for me, talking about the announcers when they come out. Wade Barrett got a big pop when he came out, and it was cool to see him.
I love the gray.
Yeah, and I spaced out on who the other announcer was, so when music hit and it popped up on screen, I think it was Mark Nash. Somebody, I don't know who the other announcer was.
Oh, the ring announcer.
Yeah, the ring announcer. And so I'm like, who is this? But I was so pumped up because it was like the first music when they said we're going live. So, it was really cool to, have that moment. And I thought I missed like a big wrestler coming in. No offense to the announcer, but
he's great.
Yeah.
Great job.
For you, what stood out as far as matches or segments? What had your attention at SmackDown?
So there was a couple of things. Obviously, throughout the night, you had the whole Fatu versus McIntyre thing that kind of drug out throughout the night. You had Randy having his existential crisis or whatever in the middle of the ring, or maybe saying he don't care. I don't really know. I haven't fully grasped that yet. But I think the highlight for me, that is a good question. Probably the Dragunov versus Carmelo match. I usually pick a segment or something, but they really put on a good show.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good wrestlers, the both of them, and I'm glad like when Ilya came back from his injury, like he came back jacked and all that stuff. But they put on good matches, and it was exciting from start to finish. You didn't want to leave your seat. So that was a highlight. I'm intrigued again by the whole Jade Meechin that came out of nowhere. I thought they were about to attack Jade, and then they attacked Rhea instead. So those are some highlights that I would say. I think the obvious is obviously the whole Orton and Drew thing, but yeah, throwing you a curveball.
So I'm surprised you didn't mention the thing of the night. Well, there's a couple, but we saw Trick Williams in his lemon pepper steppers, baby. So that was very cool to see. What was the match? It was Sammy versus Aleister Black, and they had shown a segment in the back, and Sammy was talking, and then Trick comes up. And at first I was kind of disappointed because I was like, if we only see Trick like in a backstage, I was like, that's gonna stink.
But there he came.
Yeah, and he came out. Had the whole Bobby Roode glorious entrance. And I'm telling you, when Orton came out the first time, loud pop, like really loud pop.
Yeah,
but
big pop.
Trick Williams, just as loud from the crowd, I feel like. And so, again, we've talked about it before. He gets a reaction. Our section was having fun because we had already been talking about the lemon pepper steppers. So we got to see that. That was a big one.
Can't forget the Jelly Roll versus Kit Wilson.
Spoken poetry,
slam
poetry,
whatever. But some Yo Mama jokes thrown in there. It was a little bit like, and our section was into it. They're like, oh! So that was entertaining. And I'm excited too because we saw that Kit was going to be there to address Jelly, but I wasn't sure that Jelly was going to be there. But Jelly showed up, and I think they're going to have a match next week. So, be interesting to see what they do with him. I'm sure he might find a way to get involved at WrestleMania as well. I'm sure this is where this is headed. But yeah.
So same thing. Kit Wilson, I feel like gets good reaction, plays to the crowd very well.
He's doing the comedy. He's doing his bit.
Yeah. And he's committed to it. And when he first started with the poetry, talked about, spoiler, if you hadn't watched it, Jelly Roll's Willie. And he just had a lot of great lines and zingers, and the crowd was behind Kit a little bit. And then Jelly gave it right back to Kit. And,
it was some good stuff.
Kit's mom knows about his Willie.
So you open the door there, Kit. I can't help you, but that's on you.
Yeah. And same as far as the match of the night for me was the same thing. Carmelo and Dragunov, those dudes hard hitting, like you said, nonstop action, and it went a good bit of time also. So they weren't just all gas and getting it out of the way quick.
All gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
No, I can't do that one as well.
Real bad.
But outside of that one, so great match there. But then also, Priest and Truth, got the tag belts. Was not expecting it. It's just, to me, they're just funny.
I like it. I'm always down for our Truth. Obviously, I love me some Truth. But I miss seeing Damien. He's fun too. He's got some character, and I like the lighter side, where he smiles, he laughs at Truth. They have a good thing going. And so I wouldn't mind if they held on to him for a little while. I don't know if they will or not, but it was fun being there to see them. I got jazzed about my man Truth winning the match. So that was fun for sure.
And it seemed like, especially afterwards, Priest and Truth were having fun. Priest was lit up like he was a kid at Christmas. So I don't know if it was just winning the belts with Truth, if it was just whatever it was, he was enjoying and having fun. Always great to see our Truth. And
so maybe they'll get something at WrestleMania going, because we always have more to build at WrestleMania. We've only got a handful of matches so far. And they lost or they beat the MFTs, interrupted by the Wyatt Six. So maybe something coming down the pipe there. They've been teasing it for a long time, so we'll see where that ends up.
A lot of options, and we'll talk about that at the end, like anything that you would change, around Mania, and we'll certainly come back to that. But now let's get into the fun stuff. All right. So if you remember where we left off, and we'll try to flash up what we've got on screen. But we have gotten all of the slap bracelets from Series 1 and Series 2 outside.
from Series 1, we have for some reason not gotten the NXT North American Championship.
Yep. So, and then we are also now, starting on Series 3. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to go through and kind of open these up, kind of rapid fire, and then we've sprinkled in, I think we've got 3 from Series 2 to see if we can get that NXT belt.
So the goal is to finish that Series 1, get that NXT North American belt, and then try to see if we can just go ahead and knock out Series 3. We're going to avoid the duplicates. We're not going to pile up on one belt. But, So before we open it, are there any from this series, or should we go through this series, what's in it, or are there any from this series that you in particular want?
Yeah, so we'll go through all of them, but like the 2 that I'm hoping to pull from this, I don't know if this will come across well with the light and everything.
But if not, we'll see if we can put it up
put it up there. But I'm looking forward to hopefully getting the Hardcore Championship, big fans of Mick Foley, and then also the Undisputed Championship from the 2002 era. I remember for me, Brock having that belt. I know Rock also had it, but to me, I just associate that design with Brock having it during that time frame. But then some more. So what else is on here?
Yeah, so there's several women's ones on here. Women's Undisputed, the NXT, the Intercontinental. So any of those would be cool to pull. For me, another one that I think would be cool would be the Attitude Era European Championship. I didn't even think about the European Championships when these were, we were doing all this. But to have another one from the Attitude Era, we've already got the Intercontinental and the World from that time period. Hardcore would be cool. ECW would be cool. But you know me, I'm all about the rare. So I want the Steve Austin Smoking Skull Championship title. Not to mention that I love Steve Austin. I mean, who doesn't? But yeah, that's my goal for tonight.
Okay, so even though I know you said we're not pulling duplicates, hypothetically, if we did pull 1 or 2 or 8, I'm saying you pull the Women's Undisputed.
I was gonna say the exact same thing,
and I was gonna go with also the Women's NXT.
Okay.
I feel like those are 2 that you would pull most often as we go about this adventure.
Okay. So I think that you are going to pull your Undisputed WWE 2002, but you're going to pull so many of them that you're sick of them.
Okay, we'll go with that.
All right.
We'll go that and see. And so what we'll do is as we open, we'll put our Series 3 up here and go from there. So let's get into it. And also, kind of as we go through this, we can kind of talk about the WrestleMania matches that are already on the board and go through those. And then we could, maybe talk about something we don't see.
The ones that we hadn't talked about. So.
Yeah. So first one is Hardcore Championship.
I am glad about that one.
Hardcore Championship.
Let me see. Let's take a look at it.
That's a lot of great detail in that.
It really is. I really love the hardcore. I kind of wish they'd bring back that. I like I was talking about Meechin earlier. I like the tables, ladders, and chairs stuff. I know we're not really in that era right now, but yeah. Okay. I wouldn't mind a little throwback to the hardcore belt. But yeah.
I feel like they started to bring, or they gave the new Giant W version, like hardcore, to, was it Travis Scott that they had given one to or something?
Hard to say.
Yeah.
All right, so we already started with our Women's Intercontinental.
First of many.
So yeah, I have a good feeling about this. Speaking of the hardcore, though, who's just some of your favorite hardcore people over the years?
Hardcore.
Obviously, your mind does go to ECW. Hopefully, we'll pull one of those at some point.
Mick Foley is one. Just inside WWE and outside that reputation.
Tommy Dreamer.
Yep. Man, who's some of the hardcore Holly?
Oh yeah, you forget about him.
He seems to have a lot of strong opinions right now about Sami Zayn. For some reason, I don't know if it's real or if he's just playing some gag, but he was tough. Like, he was hardcore.
Somebody told me that was a dummy account, that it wasn't really Bob Holly.
It might. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to research or anything, but who knows? The internet's wild.
Yeah. Other hardcore, I don't know. Like, I'm sure I'll think about something afterwards when we get done with it.
1000%.
Yep. All right.
The
NXT Championship. All right, so pretty cool to see.
So we have, we don't have anything like that. I think there's the women's intercontinental was in another series, but not that particular NXT belt. Let's see, and the NXT.
Okay, so she got an NXT
We'll put that to the side.
as well. So fantastic. All right. So of the announced matches, like,
well, we hadn't talked about. Well, obviously the big one is Roman versus Punk. And their little trash talk back and forth to each other, trying to see like who can out gangster the other. I guess I don't know. They have different styles. Punk is kind of more, I guess, witty. Roman's kind of more like, I'm the boss, shut your mouth, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, so that's been an interesting build. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm wondering what the Usos' involvement is going to be at this point. It was interesting to see Jay calling the shot, so they're not like, what is that? Or is it nothing?
Yeah.
You know? So that's another one that we didn't mention that I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Ezzy?
So, you know, for me, I like the intrigue of the Usos. What are they going to do? You know, kind of going into Mania. Are they going to be there to support?
It's going to be Bloodline 3.0 or whatever, you know, right now.
And so my question would be, who would help Punk, you know, come out? So, you know, there's a lot of guys that don't have matches and stuff set up yet. So who knows?
But I mean, I think they've established that, like, Roman doesn't need the title, so...
Yeah.
You know.
All right, so the women's, what is that? The Undisputed?
Yeah, the women's Undisputed,
okay.
all right.
All right.
So we've got our... we're already knocking out the women's ones fast. I can't open this one. Let's see what we got. It's a women's title sometime. It's the women's Undisputed. I'm just copying everything he does at this point.
Okay. All right. So now we're gonna break the curse of the voodoo starting. Let's switch it to the other series.
There's one.
Okay.
Here's another one.
All right. So we're gonna go for that NXT North American Championship. No, we are back to the Undisputed, or she's going to be U.S. Championship.
All right, go ahead and knock this one out then.
Oh,
we did get another Undertaker. So we haven't completed the series, but I'm not mad at the rare. You know, I love it. I love it. We're going to pop that up there.
Nice, not bad. All right, well, since you pulled like a good one, go ahead and do the last one.
Okay.
Yep. See if we can keep it going.
No, it's the Undisputed Gold, but that's all right. You know, we're still in the hunt for NXT North American.
Of all the belts,
only I could see through these things.
Yeah, that's not the one that I thought we would struggle on.
No, I really thought we'd be chasing something else.
Yeah. What about? We'll save the other title match, the main one. So let's talk about some of the women's ones. So you got 70 and Liv.
Yeah.
Facing off. What's your thoughts?
So, to me, it's kind of cooled down in the last couple of weeks a little bit, but I like their initial build, the whole like behind the scenes, all the like Spanish talking that everybody was getting so bent out of shape about for some reason. But I'm excited to see where that goes. Liv's always got so much juice. Crowd always loves to see her. But people get behind Stephanie too. They love the Devil's Kiss, and you know Booker T loves the Devil's Kiss if nobody else does. So, excited about that. I don't know who I see winning yet. We'll see as it gets a little bit closer. I might make a prediction.
Yeah, I have another thought, but I forgot it when you said Booker T. What is it he says? Ducky, ducky, quack, quack?
I have no idea.
I don't feel like that's it, but it's pretty close to it. He just goes, Book, we love you.
Yeah, absolutely. All time great.
Yeah. ECW Hardcore Championship. So
nice.
Definitely not mad at that one.
Awesome. All right, let's keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Actually, I'm gonna put this over here so don't get mixed up with the new series and the ECW Hardcore. So I'm literally copying almost everything he does.
Okay.
All right, so we got 2 left.
Yeah.
So before we open these two, any other WrestleMania matches that we need to discuss that we hadn't discussed so far?
I mean,
or that we don't have to hit on all of them, but anything you think we need to touch on?
Obviously, Orton. I got to talk about him and Cody a little bit. So, who is Orton talking to? It's one question. You say
Daddy Orton or somebody.
Orton. Yeah, and
family related.
If they do that, it would be cool to see. And I know he probably wouldn't do it, but it would be cool if Dustin Rhodes came back for at least for Mania, just one night, and was just there to support his family. If Orton has his out there.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen, but I mean, it would be cool to see. It'd be even cooler if he came out in the Gold Dust costume. No, I'm just kidding. Now, I know that won't happen, but no, I know he's retired Gold Dust or whatever. But yeah, it would be cool to see. Obviously, I want him to dig into the whole royal family thing. First of all, there's a lot of royal wrestling families.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that could potentially be involved. So yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. I have a feeling Cody's going to retain because I'm over it, at this point. But, maybe they'll surprise me and give Randy number 16?
15.
15, okay, yeah.
So him and Trips are tied at 14.
Yeah, so maybe he'll never win again. It's hard to say.
Yeah, we'll see if the golden shovel of Triple H comes out to, bury some.
Let's see what he has to do. He might be beating him for that one.
Could be. Outside of that, like I said, there's still tag team matches. I want to see what's going to happen. Or are they going to do a multi-man matchup of some sort? Like, I hope it's not a battle royal of throwing 20 guys in there just to have them on. But again, to me, the build, especially for 2 nights of Mania, not a whole lot. Like, it's a handful, but there's going to be more, so it'd be nice to see that.
We definitely got to get something. I feel like obviously we talked about the MFT Wyatt 6 thing. There's something to go there.
Royce Keys.
Could he get involved? He was in a
dark match
for, I guess that's the main event show that they have. And he looked pretty good, I thought. It was a good match. I'm kind of disappointed we hadn't seen any more of him. Is Trick going to get a wrestling match?
He better.
So we got to start pulling up those threads. We've got about 3 weeks to go to get it done. So we got to fill up that card fast.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I'm in the same, and I'd love to see, for me, some more stories being played on to get us there. And, it seems like there's not many more that's kind of, going anywhere. So we'll see. But, all right, so what do we close it out on? Oh, we have, I was looking for, I don't know which color I was looking for. Red, but another NXT championship.
All right.
So you've got to break the curse. Close us out on something good. Something different.
You just jinxed us.
Okay.
It's the women's NXT, so we don't have it.
Oh, okay.
But we did. Okay, so now looking at it, we pulled 6 of the 9 belts. Okay. Not terrible. The ones that we don't have still.
Undisputed, the Stone Cold Smoking Skull, and I feel like there's one more women's belt. Right? Oh, the European. We don't have the European.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it.
So those are the 3 that we're missing. The Attitude Era European Championship, the Undisputed WWE Championship from 2002, and the Smoking Gold. So, the Smoking Skull. So basically the...
Smoking Gold? I think you're smoking something else.
Stupid. Anyway... So basically, we don't have the 3 that we said we wanted.
Right.
So no shock there. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but I pulled several duplicates as expected.
Yeah. So, okay.
Well, anyway, we'll press on. We're gonna finish these collections. I got a lot of faith in it.
Yeah, we're gonna get it done.